Outer Orange.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here to talk about the Set 2 Infinity Involved that will be coming out in a couple days, I believe, and we're getting like basically card reveals every day. It's pretty exciting stuff as the cards read really well. And today I'm just gonna give you guys a quick brief breakdown of what we currently have, and then I'll probably do another set review in a couple coming days once we have all the cards. Scott Pilgrim Day, because I don't know, it's just Scott Pilgrim Day. Apparently the July 13th, I like Scott Pilgrim. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get through these, and as always, thank you so much for being here. All right, guys, so a little fun fact, they actually already have some of the featured cards up. They just don't have everything, but they have some cards up on their website, and they're probably going to switch over to the Beyond Twitter. They have some more up in there. Let's go ahead and kind of go through it. First, we have the Forest Craft cards. We got some new cards here for fairies. So if you're big into fairies, you can summon a fairy. It gains a crest, a different crest, and this one lets you get, at the start of your turn, add a fairy to your hand. Now, a little fun fact, I recently read the little crest rules, and it looks like you can have like 5 different unique crests at the same time. And I actually kind of talked about this in one of my recent videos where I was like playing a Kagemitsu sword build. I was kind of thinking like how the crests work. I'm kind of wondering in the future if we're gonna have like heavy crest decks where certain things go to proc at the same time, or how that's really gonna work. But anyway, it seems really good so far, as you get fairies over and over again. You can also select an info on a field and transform it into a fairy. So transform is kind of like this thing where it just changes, and that's also really cool because it's an evolve effect. You kind of just take something that's like big and annoying and just make it into a fairy. It's like a 1/1, can't really do much, and it'll turn into basically this, and they can still use it and like evolve it and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's probably not as lethal as whatever they had. Also, if that certain card had like specific mechanics, like special skills on it, those don't go off anymore because they're gone. So yeah, very interesting. Forest is really good at like doing these like weird gimmicky things when it comes to transformations and stuff like that, and this is just one of them that we're getting. So that's basically the Tatiana, but we also have the Garden's Allure. So this one is just another forest card. You can fuse, if you fused to this card, you draw 2 and draw 1. So I'm not too sure what fusing means. I guess you gotta, if you fused to this, I guess there's something else that will fuse it that'll kind of get you there, but sorry, I'm not the best with these things. But I also got some sword cards. These are actually pretty nutso from reading. So we have Rally back. Rally is like basically how many times you've called dudes this turn. I wonder if it actually explains Rally. It does not, but it's basically just how many dudes you called throughout the course of the game. So you can super evolve this for free at 20 whenever another allied follower enters the field. Deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. Insane, by the way. And then when this follower involves, summon 2 of these little knight guys. Also really strong. It's a 2/2, and when she super evolves, you just get a bunch of dudes. Well, when she evolves, so when you evolve all of this, she just gets them, and they get rushed too, so you can slam into some stuff. So this is kind of like a different Orcus, as I like to call it. You basically have access to board clear while also getting dudes in the board. You can swing into them, and you also do damage on top of that. And it's basically a free evolve, which is very important. If you guys don't know, evolving in the game is like super crucial. If you have ways to avoid evolving, it helps you win the game better. You basically always have to manage that resource back and forth, and having dudes that evolve for free is just really nuts. Also, this card's really pretty, and they showed off like a little bit of like the artwork for this like in the story, and it looks really cool too. So I'm actually excited for this one. We also have Eurus. Now, no one really talked about this one. I actually haven't read this one yet. I read the other one. This one is summon 2 enemy copies of a knight. So your opponent summons copies of knight, and whenever an enemy follower enters the field, it can't attack followers or leaders until the end of your opponent's turn. Deal 1 damage to the enemy leader and restore 1 health to you. So what's interesting about this, you can basically board clutter your opponent's board, and what happens is that they board lock them, and they can't do anything. Board locking is a very specific mechanic that not a lot of like people will talk about, but it's a very important mechanic for those that really want to play well. Basically, if you're just really trying to aim for like higher levels, there's a kind of like a skill gap there between being like an average player and being like a super knowledgeable player, and one of the things is board locking, and this is basically a concept of board locking. Your opponent is stuck with these 2 cards on the board. They can't call more cards. You can basically board lock them out of the game and then win off of it if you have certain conditions or certain aspects. Sometimes, especially sword, they'll board lock themselves where they can't call better guys because they have nothing to swing into, nothing to do. And what happens is you'll be able to swing in and close out the game, or you can basically stall an opponent out by board blocking them. It's really interesting. There's ways to go around board blocking, obviously. Like you can bounce cards like in Forest, or you can nuke cards. There's ways around it, but usually it's a little tough. The easiest way is you swing into something. If you have nothing to swing into, you're just kind of stuck for a turn, and it's a really cool mechanic. It's one of my favorite things about Shadowverse's board locking. Unironically, Evolve has a lot of this where you can kind of play around board locking and kind of play into board locking and basically kill your opponent out of the game. Very interesting stuff, but that's basically the purpose of this card. Also, the restoring health and dealing damage is also really cool. It kind of negates what your opponent wants to do and kind of screws them over a little bit. So overall, a really cool card. Then we have Prim. I'm actually familiar with Prim in the TCG as well. So this one says on Finfair you add a Silent Maid, and the Silent Maid looks like this. We actually just recently got these cards involved. So this is on Finfair. If there's an allied Prim on the field, she gets 1/1 and Bane. So that's also really cool. She also has a ward on herself, so that's also really awesome. The fact that you get her to hand for free, you can play her. She has ambush, and then she also has super evolve, give all your other followers +1/+1, so you can kind of like play her and then super evolve her and then get this out and then play this and kind of just have like a little baby board, because they also buff each other, so you just get a bunch of buffs off of them. They usually work together. So Rune got this new Luian card, and apparently she's like really cool. Like I'm not gonna lie, the art on her is like sick as hell. Really, I thought this one was cool. So this one says you can Earthright. So it's an Earthright card. She has aura. You can summon you can summon a copy of themselves, I'm assuming, then super evolve, select 2 enemy followers and go destroy them. So basically you just get multiple copies and then you just kind of go wild. It just gives you a board. A little bit of a heavy play from what it seems, but it seems pretty cool. And then by the way, runecraft is one of the crafts that I know the least about, so if I'm sounding like less informed, that's why. I play a lot of the other crafts, but rune is like the only craft I don't really touch. Still haven't touched it in the actual game, by the way. I've really been dodging it. So this one gets you a crest. So you gain Earth Sigil, which is the Earthright stuff, and you gain a crest. The crest says you have a countdown at the end of your turn, draw a card, Earthright 10, double the attack and defense of an allied follower in the field. So that's really cool. I'm not sure if it's useful or not, but it sounds really cool. Also get one of these. This is just Earthright. Just Earthright always does this. Just a little Earthright buff. So it sounds like it helps the Earthright deck, and I've been hearing good things about the Earthright deck, so I'm sure it's wonderful. So for you Earthright players, I'm sure you're enjoying this. Now we did get Filene, little Toesy girl herself, Toesinator, dogs out, you know, the usual thing, the thing that's been really discussed over on Twitter, because gosh, those toes, man. I'm not a feet person. I actually really hate feet. When I saw that, I was just like, oh god, please help me. Anyway, other people might like it. I'm definitely the opposite end, so I hope I see as least amount of toes as possible during my runs, but I'm probably will see a lot of toes and I will be happy about it. If I meet someone with the home screen with the toes on them, I will probably walk the other direction instantly and just leave. I'm just saying, I'm not talking to them. It's nothing against the guy, just I really hate feet. I really hate feet. Anyway, art-wise, really sick art. So this is Filene. I'm very familiar with Filene, actually. She's really cool. So on Fanfare, if you're an overflow, you add a Whisper, which is one of these, and you can select the mode, destroy all damaged enemy followers, increase the cost of all cards in your opponent's hand by 1. This is really broken. Honestly, both effects are really good, but the second one's really strong. This is kind of like another form of what I like to call board locking, except you're hand locking instead. You're basically telling your opponent that they lose out on whatever lethal they probably had that turn. Like if they were going to next turn going like, oh, I have lethal, they suddenly don't anymore just because the cost upgrade on this. Really strong, especially into certain decks that rely on certain thresholds. Like if it's 7 mana they try and kill, now they can't. Now they have to kill on an 8 mana turn. If they can even get there, you might be able to heal by that point or do other things or maybe kill them. So really strong. This is extremely powerful. It's only by 1, but this is really good. The fact that this card just kind of gets it, the Filene just kind of gets you there is insane. She also has Bane, and she also deals 1 damage to enemy followers when she's evolved. So she can clear board, she can basically stall a turn, and she can also nuke board in other ways. So yeah, really powerful addition. We also have a Draconic Strike. Select a card in your hand, reduce its cost by 2, deal 2 damage to enemy followers. This is kind of like a little baby nuke. Doesn't seem as good as some of the other cards. It might be, I don't know. We don't have the meta yet. We don't know what the meta is going to be like. To me, because it's a 6 cost, it sounds a little painful, but I can see a world where this will be very good. It just, you know, you deal 3 and you reduce the cost of something. So I don't know. I'm not Dragon main, so it's hard for me to say exactly where those could come up, but you know, you'd be surprised. Dragon spells go pretty hard sometimes. So that's Dragon craft. You have the Abyss. We have the Jinjetsu. I'm a big Jinjetsu fan. So she has a mode. You can basically summon 4 one-tailed foxes, which usually have ward and rush on them. They look like this. And then last words, they give a random Jinjetsu on your field +1, which is pretty normal. Basically, the foxes buff up your Jinjetsu. She just gets really big. You can also destroy 4 random enemy followers, restore 4 defense to your health. So you kind of have a couple options here. She's a 9 cost, a little painful, but she is pretty good. She basically sets up a board that your opponent has to out, and then, or also you can kill 4 random followers and then buff up your defense by 4, which is also really good. So either way, she kind of stalls a turn. That's always been the point of Jinjetsu. She kind of stalls a turn and kind of does her thing however you want. So it kind of depends on you, how you want to set up. Maybe you want to set up these guys and buff up your girl, or maybe you just want to destroy a bunch of dudes and heal. It's up to you. Really good card, a little costly on the 9, which is fair. She does a lot on 9. Definitely a good stall mechanic. Havencraft, we got Wilbur, really insane card. They actually kind of demonstrated sort of what the purpose of Wilbur is, but basically Wilbur is a 4/6. He went on last word, he summons 2 Holy Cavaliers, which are just 1/2s with ward, but they get even better because you can evolve to gain a crest. The crest says whenever an allied follower with ward enters the field, give it +1/+2. So basically what happens is you evolve this guy, he dies, guys, and then you get this effect where you get these guys and they become like 2/3s basically, or sorry, I think they become 2/4s if I remember correctly. Yeah, they become 2/4s. So they're 2/4s with ward, and every time ward enters they get buffed, so these will just get buffed. It kind of also a good little stall mechanic. You drop him, evolve him, your opponent outs him, and then you just get 2 more dudes on the board instantly, and they can instantly attack that same turn as well. So this is basically like a Storm Ward Haven build that we're going towards. It's gonna be really fun, a really fun additional thing along with anything else we'll be able to do at Haven. I'm a big Haven enjoyer, I really like Haven, so I'm really excited to see where this ends up falling. It reads really good so far, but we'll see kind of how it combines. Warcraft doesn't have anything, but I think actually on the Twitter we do, and we have a neutral of Odin. Odin's really cool. He's a select any follower in the field and banish it. Banish is a really rare kind of mechanic. You don't see it too often, but banishing goes around like last words and all that stuff. So a good example is actually Wilbert himself. Wilbert on last word summons guys, so if you just banish it, you go around the Wilbert effect. That's also really cool, a little cool thing you can do. So banish is really rare, but it's very powerful. It's usually in Haven. Haven has the most banishing, but this is actually a neutral that you can use, so everyone can do this, which I really like. I like having access to certain mechanics to kind of play around certain decks. So that's also really cool. Here's a little evolve form. He's exactly the same on evolve. Actually, he's not exactly the same. He's a little bit redder guy. So really cool there. Find it. So, oh no, not the toes. I don't want the toes. So we have Agnes. So Agnes here is a storm. This is for Havencraft as well. So a storm, I guess Storm Ward Haven is a thing. So she has storm. She's a 3/4/5 play. If there are at least 2 allied amulets on the field, destroy a random enemy follower other than the opposing one. So a nice little extra mechanic battle. So basically, other than the carded battle, just to kind of give you guys a little explanation of how this works. All right, so here we have an Aether as well that came out, and I'm reading Chris's little explanation here. So basically, it makes it really powerful. So it says Guardian of the Sky Aether. She's a 7-drop, play 0.24, ward, fanfare, summon 3 random differently named flowers from your deck. Insane, by the way, that costs 3 or less. Super evolve, give 0+2 aura on all flowers in the field. That's also insane. You can basically drop her. If you have like a 8-mana play, you can drop her, drop a bell ringer or something else, and then you basically evolve her and get the other 3 guys out and give them all aura, because it gives aura +2 to everything. So it also includes the thing you called like the bell ringer before you call her, including herself as well. So everything just gets super tanky, and there's only a couple cards that can out stuff like that, like the Chalice in Haven itself can out like that, but it makes it really hard to play around it since it's aura. So also really good. They're explaining here works well in between the turns you play Wilbur and Jean. Just some more. So we have also more forest craft support. There's more fairy. This card is really cool. I love Cynthia. So Cynthia is basically a 4 PP play for 4/3 gold followers. So fanfare, summon 2 fairies, give all allied fairies +1 +0. So just a little quick evolve, get a bunch of fairies on the board, kind of go wild there. Really good card there. This one says fanfare, select another allied follower in the field, give it Bane, and then you can super evolve, select another allied follower in the field and give it Storm. So also a really good card. It might be pretty good. Her name is Laura. I'm a big fan of that name as well. And then there's actually one more. We got a new puppet. I saw a lot of Japanese and I was like, oh no, I can't read all this. Okay, so here we go. So here we have a couple more. So we had these reveals. So here's the last bit of reveals. So we have Sway. Love Sway, by the way, one of my favorites. A puppet card here. So this is for Portal. So here we have fanfare for play 1 Victoria onto the field, and then when one of your dolls or followers such as field, it gains protection, which I think is barrier, if I remember correctly. So that's also here. Here's Victoria herself. So she does when attacking, if the attacking a follower, deal X damage to enemy X equal to attack number of this card. So this is 6/1, by the way. So it does a lot of damage. So they're really good. I'm a big fan of Victoria. She's really good also in the card game as well. So yeah, really solid card here. And we also have Jasper, and Jasper is, I'm trying to see, is the class Nemesis. I'm assuming that means portal. If I had to guess, that means portal. So this is also, it says right here, add 1 past core to your hand when evolved. Choose 1 artifact follower from your hand, and if it has protection, it cannot be destroyed. So yeah, so this is basically part of the portal craft with the robot, the mech mechanics. So you guys got another little buffer there. And I think that's actually all the cards. I think I missed this one. Here's another Abyss card here. So this one says, perform fanfare, reanimate 2 and reanimate 1. You can, when your dead follower enters the field, it gains protection, and then super evolution, you get a crest, and the crest says countdown 2 at the start of your turn, perform animate 3. So basically we animate, get your guys back, and then she also gets the crest over and over again with the 2 countdowns. So that's pretty cool. And I think, oh, we also missed Neptune. So Neptune also came out. So it says you have a crest. put 2 Ocean Orca and then the Ocean Orca cards on your field. Press when your Ocean follower enters the field. Heal your leader by 1. So it's a little hard to understand exactly what these cards are doing since they're like Japanese translated, but it seems like you're basically playing like a Neptune type of deck. So that also sounds really cool. So like I said, we don't have everything yet, but this is basically the entire thing. I'll actually probably show you guys this website because it actually seems like they actually have a lot on here and it's in order. Tuned for more cards. There'll definitely be more coming out, so stay tuned for that. I think it's really exciting stuff. On that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope this was informative. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps. You never know, you might be watching me and just realize you're not subbed this whole time. I really appreciate it if you would subscribe. On 5K, I'll be doing some little deals and specials with everybody, so we'll definitely be doing a little 5K special. I really want to get there before the end of the year, so please feel free to subscribe. On that, guys, thank you as always for watching and all the support between my shirts and my videos. I really do appreciate it. That's it. VidCards.shop. If you need anything for physical related card games at all, this is a really great website to check out for everything you may need. You can use my code Orange to save yourself some money. He's got a bunch of card games. So if you're really big in the physical end of the TCG world, get to check out all that. And also, if you need some supplies as well, you can check out BCWSUPPLIES, Orange10 to save yourself some money there. On that, guys, thank you as always for watching. Peace out. Stay awesome. And yeah, bye.